All right, welcome back to another Project Homecoming podcast. Today we are discussing becoming a godly man, just like we did the short series. We're pushing those out right now.
Yeah,
But
just want to encourage young men and how to seek the Lord, how
Yeah.
to become a godly man,
yeah, 'cause it's very
trying to
important.
attain like King David, Daniel,
Yeah,
our role models.
yeah,
Maybe not necessarily in the war department, but
in the word. Yeah, dude,
well, Daniel,
become a warrior.
Lion's Den, pretty sick.
That's wild, man. Imagine like a wild, like a lion's den in
Daniel's
today's
I mean,
society.
I was just going through it again, and Daniel, it says that he was 10 times wiser than all of
That's crazy.
the king's wise. Like he was like head and shoulders above
Yeah.
people in his wisdom.
Yeah,
And then it's really cool because when it comes to him interpreting the dream,
Mhm.
it says it says his specialty was interpreting dreams. But then when it was Nebuchadnezzar, I believe the king, correct me if I'm wrong, has the dream, Daniel doesn't say, well, I'm the best there is.
Mhm.
He's like, this is from God. There's no,
Yeah. Like he's completely humble.
he's so
about it.
humble, even though he was
Yeah.
like the top guy.
Yeah.
So
no,
anyway.
he's a great example to go with, like for
Anyway,
mentor,
we're here to
yes.
encourage young men in becoming godly men. And today
yeah.
we're talking about community and how you can't be a godly man without community.
Yeah, to seek community and to lead in community as well.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's isolating yourself and working on the spiritual disciplines.
Yeah.
Though those things are important, it's just not all there is to it.
Yeah.
It's becoming godly men within the context of your community of
Yeah.
believers. So
I guess like just opening up like in isolation. Like what is that? How does that like affect like how does that affect us as men? Like
yeah, I think in some degree when you're isolating yourself, you start to lose grip on reality.
Yeah.
And we had talked about Proverbs 18:1. It says, a man who isolates himself seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment.
Mhm.
And there is that element of like when you've been alone too long and haven't had other perspectives and other people in your life, you start to get, I don't know, your mind almost is warped a little bit, and you start to lose sight of what is important and what matters. And then as soon as you, I don't know, spend a good day at church talking to other believers, it's like, in a practical way, it almost gives you a reset.
Yeah.
And at least that's what I found in my life is I can start to get kind of skewed in just day-to-day little things. And then,
well, you can start living like pridefully as well.
yeah,
Because you're just like focused on yourself and like and what you want,
Not
and like
considering
you
others.
have no influential person in your life or like community around you that's like
Right.
telling you to do otherwise, or like, dude, you're going down the wrong path. Like you have
Or-
none of that.
yeah, or I don't think that's helpful for you, or
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that's just a big, just isolating yourself in general. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned Proverbs 18:1, like he seeks his own desire.
Yeah, because
and
that's
he
the only thing
rages.
you have if you're isolated, all you have is your own desire.
Yeah, and he rages against wise judgment.
Yep.
Like
There's no one else to counsel. There's no one else to bounce your
Yeah.
ideas and plans off of. And
yeah,
There's no other
and if
godly souls to help
yeah,
guide.
and if wise judgment did come into the equation, you'd be like, well, I've like for the past year or two, like I've been living in my own wise judgment. Like I don't really want to listen to that.
Yeah,
you know?
it starts to warp kind of your view of the world.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so and then we're going to a little bit about negative community as well, who you surround yourself with. Proverbs
Yeah.
also talks about that.
yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
just read it now.
yeah, sure, dude.
One of our
For sure.
obviously community. It's the wrong type of community. Is it's not good.
Yeah.
The joke is when you have a couple of teenage boys together, the more guys you have, the smaller the IQ, or the smaller the brain
smaller
power.
the IQ. That's awesome.
You start like,
oh my gosh.
what is it? It's like you have with one high school boy, you have a full brain. With two, you have half a brain. With
Yeah.
3, you have a third of a brain.
I never heard
So
that. But that's
with 4, you got a quarter of a brain, because now all of a sudden we start egging each other on and
That's
do some
awesome.
dumb stuff. But it's Proverbs 13:20-21. He who walked with wise men and will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. And so there's
Yeah.
obviously that element of surrounding yourself with people who will push you towards being a godly man,
Yeah.
rather than surrounding yourself with
Yeah.
people who will pull you away.
Yeah.
So
I even like just if you're going through a stage of life that like you're suffering with something, And if you're in the wrong community and you bring that up to like a friend, like in that friend group, and they just like kind of laugh it off, like that's just, I mean, that doesn't benefit you at all. You know, it continuously, like we were talking earlier on how like it can lead you into like a black hole, and like it just, you can't get out of that. Like you're just stuck because you have the wrong group of people around you. So
Yep. And
it's
you said you wanted to share a little bit.
yeah,
of
personal experience. Like in my high school life, like I remember I was struggling with, well, I wasn't introduced to pornography at that time, but in ninth grade, which is like a little like some people would consider that's late coming to this, but
Yeah, unfortunately.
I was out. It's very unfortunate that that's like the society of today.
Yeah,
but
especially with technology where we live in, it's just
yeah,
it gets thrown at you,
well,
which
it's
is
so accessible. It's
yeah,
just,
it's
but-
insanely accessible, which is very unfortunate, but something that we have to deal with, obviously, in
Yeah.
the time we live.
But I remember I was on the baseball team in high school, and I would just occasionally, you know, go out to eat with the boys or whatever, and they would talk about it, and just like it would just be such like a freely like thing that was talked about. Like it was just, they were so open about it.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
Normalizing it, basically.
they were normalizing it. Like they were like, I'm gonna go home. I've been so stressed all day. I'm gonna go do this, and I'm like, dude, what even is that? You know, because I wasn't really fully aware of it at that time, but that made me aware of it.
Right.
And I was like, if this is like something that's like freely talked about,
right.
it's normal, like why
Yeah,
can't
that's
I go
interesting.
and do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that introduced me into like pornography and like that like world of just what is it? Like
Desensitizing.
desensitizing, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting that because it's not even like, I would say many people would be like, no, that's a good thing. They're encouraging it. They're
Yeah.
getting rid of the shame. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, they're getting rid of the shame.
yeah.
So like you may
It's like,
be
no, there's the shame's there for a reason. Like
Yeah.
that's your natural inclination. And
Yeah.
like, this is not healthy for me.
yeah, like you may have been convicted of it at one point, but now all of a sudden it's like the shame's gone. Everybody's doing it. Like everybody's saying this is a thing. Like go and do it for yourself
Yeah.
and see like how good it is. But like, dude, it's not good at all, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's like, man, it's just
That's very
rough.
interesting. That's a difficult to see that
mhm.
negative influence because it almost feels,
Yeah.
I mean, it feels almost as if they're encouraging you in your life and in your
Yeah.
manhood of like, nah, dude, don't be like ashamed of this.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like that is very interesting and
It's
that
so
it can
tough.
be deceitful.
Yeah.
Um,
And I thought those guys, I thought they were like, you know, like a good group of friends, but like at the time I thought that, and then I realized further on down the road, like that's how I started that, like, and that's just, why was I putting myself in those positions? But it's hard as like a young man, like you find a group of friends, like, and you've been in a school your whole life, and or maybe not for those homeschooled, but like at least for me when I was in public school, like I found a lot of friends through that early on, and as we get older, like new things start to be introduced to us, and those group of friends like suddenly become something else to you, like they're now influencing you to do
and
the
you have
wrong
to make
thing.
a decision.
Yeah, and you have to make a decision for yourself, like am I gonna like follow that, or am I gonna like follow what I, at least for me personally, what I grew up knowing to
Yeah.
be right, like, and you
Yeah,
gotta
you're
discern that.
Starting to count the cost in a way of giving up your life for Christ might be giving up those
Yeah.
things which are currently your life, and
dude.
obviously we know that by giving your life up, you actually find it,
Mhm.
and in a real way, you find it more joyful and
Yeah.
encouraging on the earth, even
Yeah.
while we're here, not even just in heaven. Obviously, heaven is
Yeah.
the goal, but yeah, it could involve some hurt and
Mhm.
and giving that up, but
Absolutely.
uh,
Script. Well,
yeah.
on that, like,
On that, kind of
Support-
our key verse that we go to is Hebrews. Oh, not turned there. I'm just going to read it off here.
Hebrews 10:24-25.
Yep. You know, I'm going to actually turn to it. But this is kind of our key verse, and this actually hit a lot during COVID, which was an interesting of when do you, especially the beginnings of COVID, when
Yep.
we didn't really know what was going on. It's like, what?
Yep.
When do you go to church? When do you not go to church? When do you go to Bible study? When do you not?
Mm-hmm.
Hebrews 10:24 through 25 says, "And let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as is the manner of some, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." So he's saying, let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works. So that actually the gathering together of believers stirs up and increases good works and increases love. And then he says, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. So that's an actual command to go to church or go to a Bible study. Obviously, depending on, especially some countries where the church is underground, you can't go to a public church, but it's gathering together of believers regularly, right? Not like, every once in a while. I also love, it's funny to me when people are like, well, I'm a Christian. I don't really go to church though. It's like saying I'm a golfer. It's like, have you been on the golf course recently? Nope. I don't really go to the golf course, but I'm a golfer. It's like, all right, you can be, but at some point, you got to go to the golf course to be a golfer.
Yeah, if you want to,
that's part of it. Is
you can't just hit solos off the what is it, the
driving range.
You can't just go to the driving range.
And
by
you're
yourself
like golfer. It's
just,
like you technically yes, you can be, because obviously going to church and getting together with a Bible study doesn't get you to heaven, but that's part of it. Is if you are a Christian, you will want to go to these things. So that's kind of our chief verse.
That is, absolutely. And even the next verse under it, if we could even go into Proverbs 27:17, like talking on like not forsaking the assemblies of ourselves together, talking about like Bible study. Like for me, like I joining a Bible study recently at my church, like it's a group of like 5 of us, and iron sharpens iron. Like we just we can relate so much to each other. Like once you get introduced to that study and you spend like a week or 2 with those guys, like you realize like, man, I'm like encouraged to go back to this because these guys are like really like encouraging me in my walk with God, and like they really are sharpening me in my faith. And like for that one specifically, like those guys like are a lot older than me. Some like 20, 30 years older than me. I'm 22, like, and they've lived a lot more life than I have. And so being in a group like that allows me to like, like they're pouring into me, and then with that I'm able to pour into others like under my age or like around my age, like with that same wisdom.
Yeah. And so I think practically, let's break this down a little bit. What is this? Yeah. How do you genuinely apply this in your own life? And I would say first thing addresses isolation. Don't isolate yourself, as we read in Proverbs. You need to have community. Obviously, again, there's a balance. You don't need to be out every single night at a Bible study 7 days a week. But make sure you're not isolating yourself. Number 2 would be, I would say, and correct me if I'm jump in here at any point if you disagree or if you have something to add, but identify, like you did in high school, that community that's negative. My grandma would always say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And so it's kind of that core of like, who are the people you're allowing to influence you? And I think about just practically, if you look at Paul the Apostle, when he went on his missionary journeys, he would, number 1, travel with believers to encourage each other. Number 2, he would visit the churches as he went around. So it's not like he went 2 years, boom, out into the world, no one with him, not being encouraged, strengthened, and just in the world. He was constantly going from church to church, encouraging. Wow. And so like, stopping and being strengthened in each one of these things before going out into the world. And so that's a practical example of that balance. Because obviously if you just isolate yourself from the world, now all of a sudden there's no opportunity to evangelize, to spread the gospel. But you can't go out just into the world with no one around you. Yeah,
Paul would go
battered and beat up.
He would literally go church to church. Like another study I'm in, like we're going through 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus, and 1st and 2nd Timothy, obviously, like he's going to like Timothy and training him on how to like teach the gospel to others around him. Titus the same. But yeah, he's constantly going around church to church and
so
being encouraging.
Number 1, don't isolate yourself. Number 2, identify negative community, negative influence, and pray about how you're going to do that, because obviously there's a poor way of going about it, of just cutting people off or not explaining, or so pray about how to do that, but ultimately the goal is to surround yourself with people who are sharp, who
Yeah.
will sharpen you rather than dull you.
Yeah.
And then I would say number 3, and even in your relationship, how do you become a godly man in your relationship
Yeah.
in community? And so, Danny and I were talking. Part of that is leading whether it's your girlfriend, fiance, your wife, leading them and encouraging them to do exactly the same thing.
Yep.
Identify, don't isolate themselves.
Yeah.
Encouraging them to maybe distance
Branch
yourself.
out a little bit.
Yeah, branch out, distance yourself from the people who are hurting you or dragging you away from the Lord.
Yeah.
And getting involved in just a strong community.
Yeah.
And we've seen, my wife and I have seen people who will become isolated, whether it's going through a tough time, a job, having kids, where it's like we have to stay home and we have to take care of this, and it ends up having a negative effect where it's you think you're actually going to help yourself by staying home and taking care of what needs to be taken care of, and obviously to a degree.
Yeah.
You can always take it to the extremes of like, well, we should be out every night. It's like, all right, calm down.
Calm down.
You know what I mean? Like,
We need time
there's-
together.
Yeah, there's a certain element
Yeah.
where it's like if you're out too much and you don't have time to reflect and pray by yourself, you're going to damage yourself that
Your
way.
personal relationship
Yes.
then just becomes
But,
something else.
Yeah,
like,
you as a man need to identify kind of where your significant other is, and if they're already in community, fantastic.
Yeah.
But if they're isolating themselves, you can kind of see the tendency.
Yeah.
Gently encourage, hey, we really need to be in community. And 9 times out of 10, every time we've gone to an event where we don't feel like it, we come back really encouraged.
Yeah.
And so practically, just if you're not feeling like it,
Yeah.
pray,
Yeah.
consider the long-term effects of should we go to this, should we not go to this? And again, you don't have to be legalistic. It's not like, well, we got to go. We can't miss one night.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
miss a night. Stay home. Read your Bible.
Yeah.
Chill out together. But you have to, obviously, it takes wisdom in identifying these things. So,
Yeah. Because like, and we were also saying like how we could relate, like my wife, like, you know, she was like entering into marriage. Like we realized like she didn't really want to push herself into going to like Bible study
Into
or like
community.
into that church event. Because,
especially if you're introverted.
Yeah.
It's more difficult for
absolutely.
introverts.
I mean, like me personally, it's tough for me sometimes, but like I had to like push her to go to those because I knew that community would benefit her.
You were seeking her good, really.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, 9 times out of 10, like I said 95% of the time,
Yeah.
like we came out of that event or that like just Bible study and she would tell me like, man, I'm really happy I went to that.
I can't say I've ever left being like, we should have
Yeah,
gone.
right? No, like I can't say that either.
So maybe it's 99%
It's always been
of the time.
encouraging.
Yeah.
If it's a good group you're going to, you
Yep.
know, like again on like just negative community versus positive community. If it's a good group, you're going to come out feeling positive.
Yep. And so, becoming a godly man it's not a solo journey.
Yeah.
You're becoming a godly man with other godly men.
Yes.
Like Danny and I,
Mm-hmm.
we sharpen each other,
Iron sharpens iron.
push each other towards the Lord. So
Yeah. And it's so encouraging. Like
Yeah.
it's such a good thing that is taught through the Bible and
Yep.
like just applying it to your own life. It's like just having that there is so encouraging.
seek community. Don't isolate yourself.
Yeah.
Come back to these scriptures, reread them if you need
Yeah.
encouragement.
Yeah.
We can convince ourselves of a lie pretty easily. So if you are having trouble believing these scriptures in your heart, read them over and over and over again,
Mhm.
and eventually you'll start to truly believe them in your heart.
Yeah.
And then when COVID round 2 comes, then we can discuss. All right, when do you?
We'll discuss
How
that
long
when
do you
it
forsake
happens.
the assembling of believers before you say, "All right, I'm going to count the cost,
Yeah.
pray to the Lord to protect my health, and I'm going
Yeah.
to meet with believers because that's a command in the
Mhm.
Bible."
Meet with believers.
Yep.
Be encouraged through.
There's not
Christian
a
community.
meet with believers unless
Mm-mm.
you're told by the government not to, or meet with believers unless you have had a baby, and now you don't have to meet with believers. Like,
Yeah.
and it's tough. My wife and I had a baby recently, and it's a lot harder going out. But man, if you isolate yourself,
Mhm.
it
It's even
it makes it harder. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Choose your hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to go out to a Bible study with a baby. It's a
Yeah.
lot harder to be at home isolated
Yeah.
without that support and encouragement.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. So I mean, I think we hit on it.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Hopefully this is encouraging.
Yeah.
I need to stop saying Like.
Yeah, I try to cut those out in the edit. No, I'm just-
Yeah, can you cut every single and
man,
like out of the?
dude,
out
I
of the
do it a
edit?
lot. But yeah.
Yeah, we're
just-
not as eloquent as we sound. Danny does a lot of good work in the
Ugh,
edit
I
back
try.
end.
I try.
It's the whole.
It's
We gotta polish it up, right?
the polishing that matters.
That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. But yeah, becoming a godly man, and just stay tuned for more of this as we just continue to dive into these topics that has benefited us in our walk and things that we may have heard from others. But just stay tuned, and we'll see what we can put out with it. That's what the Lord gives us. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Peace.
peace.